All right, so welcome everyone to a deep dive into one of the most exciting games I've seen so far this season.
Yeah, I agree. This one was
The Lakers taking on the Kings.
really something special.
It was on October 26th. And, you know, some people might be thinking, oh, it's just one game. But trust me, this was a lot more than just, a win for the Lakers.
Yeah.
It was a battle.
It was.
It was back and forth the whole way.
Absolutely.
And it gave us a glimpse into, I think, what both of these teams might be capable of this year.
For sure.
Yeah.
The energy at Crypto.com arena was electric.
Yeah.
You could feel it even through the TV. Both teams clearly wanted this win badly.
Yeah.
And, that really showed in the way they played.
So, okay, we have to start with LeBron. I mean, the guy put up a triple-double.
Oh, yeah.
32 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists. It's like he's found the fountain of youth or something.
No.
Are we sure he's not secretly a time traveler?
He's definitely defying Father Time, that's for sure. But what's really interesting here is that it wasn't just about him racking up stats. It was about how he controlled the entire flow of the game. Think of him like a chess grandmaster, always thinking a few moves ahead, setting up his teammates.
Wow.
Dictating the pace. And the Lakers, to their credit, they played right into that. Their whole strategy seemed to revolve around leveraging LeBron's experience and his ability to just make everyone around him better.
Yeah, but let's not forget the Kings pushed them every step of the way. Sabonis was a monster out there.
Oh, yeah.
With his own triple-double, 29 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, he was giving LeBron a real run for his money in that triple-double department.
For sure.
What made him so effective against a team like the Lakers?
Yeah, we've seen Sabonis put up big numbers before, but in this game, it was different. He wasn't just scoring.
Right.
He was dissecting the Lakers' defense with his passing. The way he was spreading the ball around, finding cutters, creating open shots for his teammates, it was like he had unlocked a new level in his game. Remember earlier in his career, when he was primarily known as a back-to-the-basket scorer? This game felt like a real evolution of his skill set.
And De'Aaron Fox, we can't leave him out of the conversation. 28 points, 10 assists. His speed and scoring kept the Kings in striking distance.
Absolutely.
He and Sabonis together were a serious problem for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah. Fox's ability to penetrate and either finish at the rim or dish it out to an open teammate put constant pressure on the Lakers' defense.
Yeah.
They had to account for his explosiveness.
Right.
And that opened up opportunities for Sabonis and others. Before the season started, a lot of analysts weren't sure if the Kings would even be a playoff team.
Really?
But if they continue to play like this with this kind of chemistry and firepower, they could be a real dark horse contender in the West.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh.
Okay, back to the Lakers for a second because we have to talk about that incredible 21-0 run they went on in the fourth quarter.
Oh, man.
It felt like they flipped a switch and just took over the game. Was that all LeBron or did other players step up?
Well, it's never all about one player.
Right.
Even someone as great as LeBron. Anthony Davis was a beast in his own right.
He was.
Putting up 31 points and 9 rebounds. But I think what really stood out during that run was the contributions from Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, Reeves especially seemed to be everywhere.
Reeves brings this incredible energy and hustle that's just infectious. He's not afraid of the big moment. And he made some clutch plays during that run, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And Russell,
Yeah.
he was knocking down shots from outside, stretching the Kings' defense.
Right.
Giving LeBron and Davis more room to operate inside. This is what's scary about the Lakers. It's not just their star power. It's the depth of talent they have.
Yeah.
That kind of depth is essential for any team that wants to compete for a championship.
And in the end, the Lakers pulled out the win 131-127, but man, it was close.
It was.
The Kings did not go down without a fight.
So, thinking back on this game, what makes it stand out in your mind?
I think what's fascinating about this game is that it wasn't just a showcase of individual talent. It was a clash of styles.
Of strategies. And of two teams with something to prove. The Lakers, with their veteran experience and championship pedigree, showed that they're still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But the Kings, with their youth, their energy, and their never-say-die attitude,
Yeah.
they made a statement, too. They're not just happy to be here. They're coming for the throne.
For sure.
They want to win it all. Even when the Lakers went on that huge run, the Kings never really seemed out of it.
Yeah, I know, it's true.
They kept fighting back. They kept making it interesting.
That resilience really stood out to me, too. They didn't let the Lakers' star power or that big run intimidate them.
Right.
It felt like they truly believed that they could win.
Exactly. They weren't just playing to keep the score close. They were playing to win.
Right.
And that speaks volumes about the culture that Coach Brown is building there.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of anyone, and they're not going to back down from a challenge.
Speaking of Coach Brown, his strategies seem to be working. I mean, the Kings ball movement was really impressive. They were constantly finding the open man, swinging the ball around the perimeter, and making the Lakers work on defense.
It's like they were playing a game of hot potato with the basketball, but in a good way.
Right.
They were so unselfish, always looking for the best shot, not just settling for the first decent look.
Yeah.
And that kind of offensive flow can be really demoralizing for a defense.
Yeah.
You can't relax for a second because the ball is moving so quickly, and you never know where the next shot is coming from.
Okay, so we've talked about the big stars, but every great team needs those unsung heroes, you know?
Right.
Those players who might not fill up the stat sheet but still make a huge impact. Were there any players like that who stood out to you in this game?
Oh, absolutely. For the Lakers, I think Austin Reeves deserves a shout-out again. We already talked about his contributions during that 21-0 run, but his impact went beyond just scoring.
It did.
His energy, his hustle, his willingness to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
Those things don't always show up in the box score, but they're crucial to winning basketball. He was diving for loose balls, taking charges, playing tough defense. Yeah. He was doing all the little things that help a team win.
I was really impressed with his defense on De'Aaron Fox. I mean, Fox is such an explosive, quick player.
Oh, yes.
But Reeves didn't back down.
No, he didn't.
He made Fox work for every basket.
Exactly. And that kind of defensive effort can be contagious.
Yeah.
When you see a guy like Reeves out there giving it his all Campbells, it inspires his teammates to raise their level of play as well.
What about on the Kings side? Any unsung heroes for them?
Keegan Murray was really solid for them, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah.
He had the tough assignment of guarding Anthony Davis.
Oh, yeah.
And while Davis still had a big game, Murray made him work for everything.
He did.
He used his length and athleticism to contest shots. He battled for rebounds, and he didn't let Davis bully him in the post. It was a really mature performance from a young player.
That's a great point. Sometimes it's not about completely shutting down a superstar like Davis.
Right.
It's about making him take tough shots.
Yeah.
Making him uncomfortable and disrupting his rhythm. It sounds like Murray did a good job of that.
He did. And that kind of defensive effort can have a ripple effect throughout the game. If Davis isn't getting easy buckets, it forces the Lakers to work harder for their points, and it opens up opportunities for the Kings to get out in transition and score easy baskets of their own.
Okay, so we've talked about individual players, but what about the coaches? Any strategic moves or decisions that jumped out at you?
You know, one thing that really impressed me about Coach Ham on the Lakers side was his willingness to adjust his rotations based on the flow of the game. He wasn't afraid to experiment with different lineups, to try to find the right combination of players to match up with the Kings. And his decision to stagger LeBron and Davis's minutes was really smart.
Explain that a little bit more for me. What do you mean by staggering their minutes?
So instead of playing LeBron and Davis together for long stretches, Coach Ham made sure that at least one of them was on the court at all times. That way, the Lakers always had a go-to scorer, a guy who could create his own shot or generate offense for his teammates. It helped them maintain a consistent offensive attack.
I see.
And prevented them from having those scoring droughts that can sometimes happen when your star players are both on the bench.
It's a really interesting insight. It's like a chess match, isn't it? The coaches are trying to outmaneuver each other to find the right combination of players and strategies to gain an advantage.
Exactly. And Coach Brown on the Kings side, he did a great job of emphasizing ball movement and spacing.
I noticed that.
The Kings were constantly looking for the open man, and they weren't afraid to take the three-point shot.
I noticed that too. They were really letting it fly from deep.
And that's the way the game is played now. Three-pointers are such a valuable weapon, and the Kings weren't afraid to use them.
Yeah.
It kept the Lakers' defense honest and prevented them from packing the paint and focusing solely on stopping Sabonis and Fox.
So both coaches seem to have had a good game plan, but ultimately the Lakers came out on top. What do you think was the deciding factor in this game? Why were the Lakers able to pull out the win?
You know, I think it came down to experience, especially in those crucial final minutes. The Lakers have been in these kinds of close games before. They know how to handle the pressure, and they have a leader in LeBron who can calm everyone down and make the right plays when it matters most.
It definitely felt like the Lakers had that extra gear, that ability to lock in and execute when the game was on the line. Do you think the Kings, being a relatively young team, maybe let the pressure get to them a little bit down the stretch?
It's possible.
Yeah.
They're still learning how to win these kinds of high-stakes games against elite competition.
Yeah.
There are a couple of possessions late in the game where they seemed a bit rushed.
Yeah.
Maybe forced a few shots they wouldn't normally take.
Yeah.
That comes with experience, though.
Right.
The more they're in these situations, the better they'll handle them.
So even though they lost this game, was still a positive step for the Kings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they proved to themselves and to the rest of the league that they can compete with anyone.
Yeah.
They have the talent, they have the coaching, and they have the heart. This game was a learning experience, and I bet they'll use it as fuel to get even better.
Okay, so we've talked about what went right for both teams, but every game also exposes areas where teams can improve.
Yeah.
Did you see any weaknesses in the Lakers that other teams might try to exploit?
Well, their pick-and-roll defense wasn't always as sharp as it could have been.
Oh.
Sabonis and Fox in particular were able to create some problems with their pick-and-rolls.
For those of us who aren't as familiar with basketball strategy, could you explain what you mean by pick and roll?
Of course. It's basically a two-man play where one player sets a screen.
Okay.
That is, they stand in the path of the defender guarding the player with the ball and then rolls towards the basket. The player with the ball can either use that screen to create space for a shot,
right,
or pass the ball to the rolling player for an easy basket.
So it's a way to create confusion for the defense and open up scoring opportunities.
Exactly. And the Kings, they ran their pick and rolls really effectively, especially in the first half. They forced the Lakers to make quick decisions.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes those decisions weren't the best ones.
Interesting. So if you were an opposing coach, how would you game plan against the Lakers? What would be your strategy?
Well, first and foremost, you have to find a way to at least slow down LeBron.
Right.
He's still the engine that drives this team. And if you can limit his effectiveness, you have a much better chance of winning.
Easier said than done, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are things you can try. You can double team him, forcing him to give up the ball. You can try to wear him down physically.
Oh, okay.
Make him work hard on both ends of the court. You can try to front him in the post, preventing him from getting easy catches.
And what about Anthony Davis? He's a pretty tough matchup himself.
No doubt. You need a strong physical defender to guard him.
Right.
Someone who can body him up and make him work for every shot. You could also try to force him to take jumpers where he's not quite as effective.
So it sounds like stopping the Lakers is all about stopping their stars. But we saw other players like Reeves and Russell make big contributions in this game. How important is it to shut down their supporting cast as well?
It's crucial. The Lakers are more than just LeBron and Davis. They have a solid supporting cast that can hurt you if you give them open looks.
Right.
Reeves brings energy and hustle. Russell can score from outside. And they have other veterans like Patrick Beverley who can provide leadership and defense. To beat the Lakers, you need to play a complete game.
Yeah.
You can't just focus on the stars. You have to shut down the entire team.
So this win for the Lakers, while impressive, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cruise to a championship.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The West is incredibly competitive this year, and there are a lot of teams capable of beating them. The Lakers will need to stay focused, continue to improve and avoid any major injuries if they want to contend for a title.
Right.
This game was just the first step in a long journey.
Okay, last question for you. We've talked a lot about the Lakers, but what's the biggest takeaway for the Kings after this close loss? What should they be thinking about going forward?
I think the Kings should be encouraged by this performance. They went toe-to-toe with the Lakers.
They did.
One of the most talented and experienced teams in the league, and they proved they belong in the conversation about the top teams in the West.
They definitely didn't look intimidated or outmatched.
Not at all. They played with confidence, they played with heart, and they show that they're not afraid of anyone. I think they'll learn from this experience, they'll continue to grow as a team, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with all season long.
Well said. And that's our deep dive into the Lakers-Kings matchup. It was an incredible game full of drama, excitement, and maybe even a few hints about what we can expect from these two teams as the season unfolds.
This game really felt like a glimpse into the future of the NBA. We saw the veteran savvy of the Lakers, a team built for championship contention, go up against the youthful energy and talent of the Kings, a team on the rise and hungry to prove themselves. It's going to be an exciting season, folks, and we can't wait to see what happens next.